Alfred Adult Piano Series here. Level 2, we're going to be playing page 10. The song is Roman Holiday. Let's take a quick listen to it, and then we'll talk about the details. Okay, so let's go over a couple things with this piece. I played the whole thing with the repeats and all that stuff for a couple reasons. One, sometimes people get confused about this stuff on where to go, and two, I wanted you to hear the whole thing for a couple reasons. One, the fermata at the DC al fine at the end, everybody seems to bypass these types of dynamic markings. So let's not do that. Let's actually hold fermatas and use them to their value. Okay, and if you don't know what I was talking about just then, we will get there. So let's get back to the beginning. We're in 4/4 time. The first thing you should do with this piece is look at the top of the page. It says Technique Builder, cross 1 under 3. Well, there's my third finger, and I'm going to cross my 1 under. Now, what do people typically do here that is incorrect? Well, if you watch my wrist and my arm, this is what they do that is wrong. They'll hit their third finger, their thumb's about here, and they're like, well, I need to get it to F here. So they take their wrist and their arm and they move their thumb over, as if their thumb can't move this way using this muscle. It just doesn't work. Their hand doesn't work like mine. Now, if you have some weird injury and you can't do that, sorry. Most people can do this. So if your thumb can touch your pinky, that's what you should be thinking about when you do this cross under exercise at the top. So watch my thumb. 1, as I hit 2, there's my thumb. It's already on F. And I didn't have to make my arm go flying and all that stuff. Now, let me be clear about this. If you are playing piano and you are being attacked by ninjas coming from your right side, you will want to use the elbow defense mechanism here, okay? So just remember this. If you're really into self-defense and piano, definitely utilize the elbow defense maneuver there, okay? But if you're just playing piano, let's try not to look like we're battling, somebody who's approaching us from the right side, okay? Use this muscle here. Now, if you want to play this exercise and get good at it, which you should probably spend 5 minutes with the right hand, 5 minutes with the left, to where you can do a tempoed version of this where you're practicing keeping it moving and moving your thumb under using the muscle. If you can do that with the right and the left, there's the muscle. If you can do both of those, you're ready to go with the piece. All right, let's get started on the song. So the song starts by utilizing this technique. There goes the muscle. My thumb's on A. My thumb's on D. And I've utilized the technique already at the beginning of the song. So you should get good at that. All right, I've got that down. Looking at the left hand, do I really need to go over this? If you've already played the first 2 songs of this book, and you've already played level 1 of Alfred piano course, I think you have this down by now, okay? So I don't need to cover that left hand. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your C major, G7 chords. And as we move on to the next section of this song, you'll notice this pattern. We start on D now and do the same thing. And on the second page, we start on C and do it. And then finally B. Well, that just tells us once we've learned the first section or the first musical idea, we actually are good at all of it now, all the way up to the second page, second bar. So that's really great. Now the third chord in this one is the F chord. So I'm going to review really quick. Your chords are C major, G7, and F major. Those are your three chords in the song, okay? You should practice them a few minutes. If you feel comfortable, you're good to go. Now let's talk about how we're going to put these together if you're having any rhythmic difficulties. Let's say you're doing this. Something I hear a lot of. You are supposed to hold your quarter notes for quarter notes, but you're not supposed to pause and stop the rhythm of the song. So when you write in your beats to begin this, the very first two notes that we have in the song are at the end of a measure. You have to think of it that way. These are called upbeats. You should count them 4 and. So this will be 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You should have that beat going. So then you can count in. Get yourself ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. If you've got that down, then you can start adding your left hand. And I would actually, if you're having trouble just putting them all together like this, if you can't do that, add this hand one at a time. We call this the addition method. So I'm going to add just the C. Now I'm going to add the next two. Focusing on keeping that steady beat in the right hand, and this is adding to it. Now I'm going to add the next one. That's going to happen when I get to C, and I'm going to go slower. The more I add in the left hand, the slower I go. Cool, and then I'm going to add the last one. And then maybe I'll add the next note and so forth on the left hand. This is only if you're having trouble adding them. If you're not, don't worry about this part. Move on to the next part. So on page 2, we get to a first ending that does the, and then we go back to the beginning, we play all again, and then we jump to the second ending. Remember that on first and second endings, the second time you're playing it through, don't play the first ending again. I still have people doing that sometimes. Don't play it the second time through. Jump to the second ending. And once you get to the second ending, now we're moving on to the next part of the song. The left hand, we're doing the cross unders right there. So if you're having trouble, or maybe you didn't practice this left hand, go back, learn how to cross under and use this muscle and get this one as competent as this one. Okay, I get this a lot of times where people negate these things or they skip parts and then they're not good at them and they're wondering why. So make sure you're good at this. And the same applies for what if you're having trouble going like this? I've had this, I've heard this before. Why is this happening? Well, I'm stuck. I went on this one, but my thumb isn't actually in the new position to play the next 3 notes because I'm focused on hitting these 2 after I play these. And now it's too late. I need to cross under, but I wasn't ready. So this has everything to do with being ready for what's about to happen and that pre-preparation to read ahead. So check yourself. Are you actually that? And now I'm resting on the G and waiting? Or are you going like this? All right, I'm on my 3rd finger. That's great. But I'm not anywhere near the G that I need to be to keep the song going. If that's happening to you, there's your problem. Fix that. Go like this. See how my hand's in the new position while I'm playing this? That's what you need to do for these parts, if you're getting stuck there. Other than that, most people get through this part rather easily because hands are playing separately. Make sure you write in your rhythms though. Okay, if you haven't wrote in your notes and your beats, you might get a little off. Things aren't going to sound quite right. Final thing, most people don't do this, but you have a cell phone, right? We all do. We all have cell phones. If you think Hey, I'm doing really good. Okay, maybe you have a digital piano like this and you can record yourself. Find your voice recorder, use your piano recorder, whatever you have, start recording yourself while you play and see what it sounds like. This is a way that you can pick up on little mistakes that maybe you're not aware of before you get back to your lesson with your instructor if you have one. If you're doing this by yourself, well, this is going to help you hear things that maybe you don't hear while you're playing, because we are so hyper-focused on doing what we're doing, we can't really outwardly analyze what is being played. This is very common with everybody. So record yourself, all right, and take a listen to it. Other than that, let's talk about that final thing I was talking about at the end of the song. It says D, C, L fine, and that chord that you have has a little half circle with a dot. That is called a fermata. Hold it longer than the value. That gives you all this time to get ready to start over. It's this kind of dramatic pause. All right, I'm back on the first page, and here we go. That's what the fermata does for you. Use it. It's a friend of yours, okay? It gives you time to get yourself resituated to start the repeat to get to the end, okay? All right, other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. If you want piano lessons, check me out online at intunelessons.com. I'd be more than happy to set up your 2 free initial lessons. The first lesson is more of a meet and greet. The second one is a full private lesson, and you get to try it before you buy it. If you don't like me, you just don't call me back, and you got your free lessons. So feel free to do that. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.